and welcome back to the Weekend Spread, the Schooner Pod's weekly college football podcast. I'm your host, Bobby Howard, and with me today, we've got Jameson Maxwell, Ty Lee, and the captain himself, Boaton Blake. We are recording this on a Sunday evening, if you could call it an evening. It is a little bit late. We typically do these live, but due to scheduling conflicts, we're recording it early and gonna drop it at some sort of time. Boys, week 0 is behind us. We're off on our way here. And look, we've got quite a chock full week 1 of college football. But Blake, how are you feeling about just our start, week 0? Any thoughts before we move on to the big show?
Week 0 delivered in one of the best ways possible. This is obviously not going to beat any full slate of college football games, but we had Farmageddon to start, which was just a perfect clash of just the grossest football you've ever seen, plus some good dramatics towards the end. Then we got a standalone game in UNLV Idaho State that was supposed to be a blow-off game, turned into one that I was glued more to than any other game on the slate. The Alex Orji Anthony Calandria experiment is off to a very dicey start out in the desert. Things are not looking good because Idaho State, I think they just lost by 7, but some of the mistakes they were making were absolute disgusting. And then we get to the night slate where we got a Stanford-Hawaii game that I think delivered on all fronts. I've learned Stanford is probably the worst team in the Power 4. What I saw from what's Stanford's quarterback's name? I can't remember. One of the worst quarterbacks I've ever seen in my entire life. But
Ben Goldbranson?
Yeah, it's like Goldbranson. Yeah.
Yeah.
God, horrible. But 3 games in 3 different times, time spots, delivering. That's all you could ask for week 0.
Yeah, no, it was probably one of the more exciting week 0s if you cared to pay attention to it. Loved it. But I'm hankering for a full slate, and in a weird way, it's nice to be recording on Sunday so we can just kind of kick this thing off right away.
Yeah, I'm ready to get into it. We got so many good games, and it's this is where our opinions, we start to anchor on these, and our primacy bias are so strong as a podcast. So get ready. There's going to be a new darling of the weekend spread, and it's going to come from this week.
Oh yeah. It always happens week 1. We make, yeah. I think I already have a lemon team this year after week 0. I'm mad at one team in particular that we'll get to at some point.
There's not many to pick from.
True. Okay, so quick standings update. Ty, Blake, and myself are all 3-1. Blake hit on the Island Boy pick. He's the only one to pick Iowa State, so that's. But he did go against Hawaii on Island. Went with Stanford. That's how I got his 1. Jameson 2-2 from K-State, and
Stanford.
I'm good. Stanford. I will put Blake in the head or the lead point, even just because he's the only one hitting Island. The standing graphic is just kind of. I just was lazy and didn't want to move Ty or anyone around.
That is fine. I thought we were going as kind of like golf rules till I beat Ty. I do not go in front of him.
Going
title
on
belt holder.
Winning on an island deserves respect on this pod.
Agreed. Let's kick this thing off. Very first game. This one happening on a Friday on Fox, 7 p.m. Central. It's the Auburn Tigers. Last year went 5-7. Heading to the banks of the Brazos to take on the Baylor Bears, who finished 8-5 last year. Lofty expectations for Baylor in the Big 12. Auburn favored by 2.5 on the road here. Blake, you attended Baylor. How are you feeling about the Bears here?
Yeah, this game creates a particular intrigue for me, not only just because I'm very high on Baylor and I think that this year's rivalry between TCU and Baylor is going to feed generations to come, but also I was probably the only one on the podcast that was vibing with Auburn before the last week and a half when everything came crashing down. So in my mind, this is still a very, very tightly contested football game, regardless of what we see from Auburn's 3 offensive coordinators that are calling plays and 3 quarterback combination that we could see. But I gotta go with the more proven team. It's Baylor. It's Sawyer Robertson, regardless, is significantly better than anything that Auburn is going to trot out in this game. I think it's so insane that Auburn is after all this media frenzy, after all we've seen from camp, is still a 2.5-point favorite against Baylor. This seems outrageous. A team that has some continuity this year, a team that it seems like Dave Aranda has started to right the ship a little bit more, and one that I think is going to be a little bit more explosive on the offensive end. I just like Baylor. I like Baylor so much more. Yeah, I think these are going to be 2 good teams. I think these are going to be 2 bowl eligible teams. And I think Baylor. I think Baylor takes the prize here. So give me the Bears.
Yeah, I don't like either of these teams. I'll keep it brief. Just to zag, just for the sake of zagging, go ahead and give me Auburn. I do not like it. I could see this being Baylor by 10. But, Jackson Arnold's, fool me 2 seasons in a row. Shame on me. So at least my fate is in my hands here. Give me Auburn.
Yeah, I've been on an anti-Auburn sort of warpath the past couple weeks, and I feel like it starts here. McLean Stadium, even though it's not exactly very big, can be a pretty damn loud place to play. This place is going to be fired up. This is one of the first times, if not the first time, an SEC team has ever come to McLean Stadium. So I'm pretty sure this is a massive game for Baylor. The Big 12 schools always get a little fired up to defend the shield against the SEC. I think Baylor has this one. Auburn's a dumpster fire that some folks aren't catching on to yet, but I don't know. I feel like I've seen these tremors before, and I think it's just about to. I think the ground's about to just open up for under Hugh Freeze's feet, and he's gonna have a lot of tea times come November. That's all I'm going to say.
I understand that everything that's coming out this offseason is scaring you away from Auburn. That's what Vegas is playing into this line. I think whenever you put Auburn's defense and their skill players up against Baylor, it's not even close. I think I agree with you. If you're talking quarterbacks, Blake, Sawyer Robertson's a guy I really like, but I think the loss of Monterey Baldwin, his best target from last year, I think is going to be hurt for them. I think that if they really establish the run game, because they have their 2 running backs from last year, that's how they win this game, not through Sawyer Robertson. But I think guys like Keldrick Falk on the defensive line for Auburn, and then even if you don't have a good quarterback, just the wide receiving core with Eric Singleton and Cam Coleman and Auburn, I think just pushes them over the edge and gets them to cover the spread and win. So I'm going to go Auburn.
All right, cool. So we're split with Auburn and Baylor. Moving on to our next game. Also on a Friday. Ty, what do you have to say?
Yeah, I have a quick historical note that I pulled up real quick. First time an SEC team visited Baylor was 76, also Auburn. So first time in almost 50 years, I believe, that an SEC team has come to town, but Auburn again.
Huh. Oops, only Auburn. That's funny. So, all right, next game. Also on a Friday night on ESPN. Georgia Tech last year finished 7-6. They're heading to Boulder to take on the Colorado Buffaloes, 9-4 last year. Tech, a 4-point favorite on the road in this one. Jameson, who do you like?
Dude, and there's a reason it's a 4-point favorite. I love this Georgia Tech team. If you talk about, I know what I'm getting out of them. Haynes King is a baller. What is the news that this dude's sleeping in the stadium? Y'all hear about that? This dude's been sleeping in the stadium at Georgia Tech. Give me some more of that, man. Haynes King, he does not care about getting hit 20 times a game. He'll get right back up. And honestly, the running back, another Haynes, Jamal Haynes, he's pretty damn good too. 2 returners from last year for an offense that I really liked. And then you talk about Colorado. They don't even have a quarterback named yet as their starter. I don't know if it's going to be Caden Salter. I mean, honestly, if I'm picking Colorado, I would hope it's Caden Salter. Who knows with Julian Lewis in this game? there's just too many things going on here that I don't want to pick Colorado, and I just like this Georgia Tech team too much.
Yeah, I'm with you on the Georgia Tech love. Britt Key, I feel like he's running a great program right now, moving them in the right direction. I feel like they just have their stuff together. They're where they're at in their phase of their program. They feel like they're more in that like competition stage. They're ready to try to win the ACC. Make a dark horse college football playoff run, that sort of thing with King, and crew, and Colorado's still figuring stuff out. What does the post Travis Hunter, Shedeur Sanders era look like for them? Obviously, a lot has been going on with Dion and his personal life, and all of the stuff he's done, with him on the medical end. And I think Colorado overall, I think there is substance to that program. I just think they're in such a period of transition that it's going to be a tough one to win. It's a tough draw. I like the Ramblin' Wreck here. Give me Georgia Tech -4. This might be a fishy line to some, but you just don't know Georgia Tech.
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look, I think this is a great line. I think this is a poorly done line, but I think it's a great line if you're looking at this reasonably. I think everything points to Georgia Tech -4 as being so obvious. And I know I've been critical of this Colorado team, but until I see otherwise, until I see the wheel leave the wagon, until I am feeling the effects of the dysentery that I've received from drinking the pond water while riding this wagon. It's an Oregon Trail reference.
Yes, I understood it.
But I will ride with these Buffaloes until I perish of dysentery. I think give me Colorado +4 in this one. Vegas has to know something. And for all the ways that I think this Colorado team will probably end up, is it going to happen this year? Yeah, probably. But could it happen next year? Potentially. But I think that this is an organization, a community, a team that was an absolute dumpster fire. And say what you will about how they've gotten to the point that they've gotten now. 9-4 is unbelievably impressive if you look at them even 2 years ago. And they're in the Big 12. They're in a very competitive conference. That's a very legitimate 9-4. I got to ride with them. I think that the post Travis Hunter, post Shedeur Sanders, who was the better player on that team, I think that will be a drop off for this team, but I think they're going to come to play. They've still got some absolute dogs, and it's still a team that is, I think, they're not going to win a national championship, but I think that Coach Prime has built the model for mid-market teams going forward in college football in the NIL and portal era. And I think they got losing by a field goal in them in this one for sure. I think they win, but lose by a field goal and I still cover. Absolutely. Give me the Buffs.
That would be just the worst way to lose that bet, but I see what you mean. Blake?
Yeah, Georgia Tech, I think, is going to annihilate Colorado. I don't think this one is even remotely close. One of my best games on this slate. You look at Colorado, Dion has talked about how they have to completely rebuild the fabric of like how this team operates. It was a total just Shedeur Sanders, Travis Hunter, let's air the ball out a lot. We don't really need to rely on defense. Like, get in these races and we will win based on just like the skill players we have. They cannot do that anymore. Don't know who's going to be quarterback. Don't care. I think Salter is an absolute bum of a quarterback that was he feasted off of the worst schedule that you could possibly get in America being at Liberty. Like, this guy, the moment he played legit competition, absolutely crumbled. Don't really care about him. Juju Lewis to too inexperienced. And yeah, they said they're going to run the ball a whole lot and rely on their defense. I haven't seen Colorado's defense be elite in the past, nor do I think they have the talent to be elite going forward. I think they're going to be a marginally average team in the Big 12, if not even worse than that. I think Georgia Tech is one of those that's actually going to be contending for the ACC. I think Georgia Tech runs them over. Give me Georgia Tech by like double digits. I think Colorado's in a really bad state right now.
Ty riding with the Colorado Buffaloes on an island here. Moving on to our next game. We've got this one's going down in Atlanta. The Syracuse Orange, 10-3 last year, taking on another big Orange team, the Tennessee Volunteers, 10-3 last year. Vols favored by 13.5 here. You can find this one 11 a.m. Central on ABC, a game that clearly everybody's going to be watching at 11 a.m. Central. No other big games on, certainly.
That's why you got to have
Orange
4
teams.
TVs. Yep. What an amateur.
Yeah. Hey, let the Vols fans know. That's why you have them. Blake, who do you like in this one?
Yeah, this one's, I think it's kind of two teams that lost important pieces to the portal and how you view them now. It's like Tennessee, obviously, with Nico. And then when it comes to Syracuse, losing their top receiver, Pena, to Penn State in the portal, I believe in the spring. These teams are two shells of themselves. But which one do I think still retains some of its qualities, still some of the same fiber that we saw last year? I kind of leaning more towards Tennessee. I think Joey Aguilar is going to be a fine quarterback in that system. Like I've always said, it's like these Bryles, these whatever they're running in Tennessee type of air raid, run and shoot type of offenses. They're very easy for quarterbacks. They give them planned reads. You really don't have to have the most talented guy. That's why we saw Baylor succeed so much for the 2010s, because it really, like, you don't need talented guys there. Whereas Syracuse lost everything from that team. That was fantastic. I think Fran Brown's going to build something incredible at Syracuse. He's one of the coaches that is significantly on the rise right now, and I think he's a fantastic coach. He's going to be a great recruiter at that, but I just think losing that much versus a team that's recruiting SEC talent, I think they're just going to get overwhelmed pretty quickly in this one. So give me the Volunteers minus 13.5.
Yeah, Q's got a 5-star wide receiver coming in.
Yeah. Like Fran Brown is going to be like, I hope he stays at Syracuse for a while, but he's just going to be a hot name on the recruiting trail, because it seems like players love to play for this guy, love him. And he's really honest at his press conferences. He basically told that wide receiver that went to Penn State to basically F off when he demanded $2 million from him. So he's like, we're not paying that. We're Syracuse.
Syracuse got money though. They got a couple of boosters that are big money.
Yeah. No, they got money, but I totally get it. It's like when you're in a rebuilding year, don't go out paying multi-million dollars for wide receivers when you're not even sure everything else is filled up. Save that money for a rainy day whenever it's a little bit better.
Yeah, don't go all the way out to lose to Clemson in the ACC championship. Yeah. Ty, who do you like?
Yeah, don't overthink this one at all. Tennessee, very obvious get here. It's not trying to do conference bias, not trying to do anything else. Tennessee, offensive-centric team, 13.5 seems a little crazy with a team like Syracuse. I know you see that that previous season record, but Tennessee 14 points in this one for sure. Give me the Vols. The Vols.
Yeah.
AWLS. Yeah.
Yeah, the Vols. I'm on the Vols here. I think this definitely is a situation where I mean Blake nailed it right on the head. Both of these teams are going through a lot of change, a lot of transition, but I really, really like. I mean, I like Tennessee more than I like Syracuse. I feel like their base, what they have to reset with, is going to be better than Syracuse's 9 out of 10 times. And I think, to me, that program, obviously, tricky year, in terms of the players you lost, some of the continuity gone. That's obviously tough, but I like the base a little bit better. I think Tennessee wins this one. I think it's a narrow cover. I think it's one we might be sweating for a little bit, but 2 touchdowns. I like the Vols here.
Yeah, I don't have anything more to add. I'm just going to go Vols as well.
Yeah, tricky game. These early season ones are little bit tricky. But this is a big one. This is a massive one. The Texas Longhorns, 13-3 last year, heading to the Shoe to take on the Ohio State Buckeyes, the defending national title or national champions, 14-2 last season. Look, this is a Cotton Bowl rematch, a absolute classic semifinal in the college football playoff. Buckeyes favored by 1.5 here at home, 11 a.m. Central on Fox. First number one team in Texas to be a underdog in their very first game of the season. Jameson, who do you like in this just massive Clash of the Titans?
I think this is going to be an exceptional game, but I was saying this before the pod that I think there's another game this weekend that I'm a little bit more excited about, which is kind of a weird take. But all things aside, I think Texas wins it. Even though they're the underdog, they're going on the road. I think that we can't talk enough about Ohio State's defense and what they lost. We talk a lot about their offense and, they still got Jeremiah Smith and all of these things, but no Travion Henderson anymore. And then no Quinshon Judkins and losing Will Howard. But when it comes down to, there was a lot of leaders on the defensive game that they lost. And I understand they still got a great secondary that is like one of the best, if not the best in the country, with one of the better safeties in the country in Caleb Downs and Igbenison. I always see his name. I've never said it out loud before, so that's cool. But I think that this Texas, when it comes down to it, like the secondary for Ohio State's very good, but the front seven for Texas on the defensive end is so good that's going to give, I think, a younger quarterback a lot of problems and give Ohio State trouble scoring the ball consistently early in the game. And I think Texas can get out early to a lead and run it out and win this game. So I'm going to go Texas for the win.
I hate this game so much because as much as I would love to pick Ohio State, just Texas starting 0-1 would be great. Columbus, tough environment. I just feel like they're going to do it. I feel like the Longhorns just, there's more continuity. Continuity is always a good thing, but in a revenge game, these guys, their season ended last year in kind of heartbreaking fashion against Ohio State. Like they feel like they were very close to winning a national championship. And to me, I feel like, when you look at that defensive depth, when you look at Anthony Hill, say what you will about Arch, I've questioned him a little bit. Like we kind of still need to see him out there. Sarkisian does a really good job of getting his guys up for these big road games. We saw him, win a big one at Alabama. We saw him win a big one at Michigan. They're not going to be daunted. And to me, Ohio State, this is their opener. They'll be celebrating that championship right in front of Texas. I can't. My entire offseason, I've been kind of thinking the Buckeyes would win this one. But the more and more I think about this, I clearly see Texas winning this. And I hate it, but it's just business. Longhorns cover the 1.5. I think it's going to be a great game. I think it's going to be a tight game, but to me, I feel like we're going to see Texas win this one pretty handle. Maybe not handily, but I think Texas wins this one. Which I hate that.
Look, I am not ashamed to do this. This is an objective sports gambling advice. This is, in fact, legally, we are giving you investment advice. That needs to be said. So if you want to take us to court for this, we are legally giving you investment advice on this podcast.
No, we are not. This is a parody. This is
I'm talking about the wrong kind of SEC here, but we'll be hearing from both soon. But the best possible thing.
Blake loved that one.
This is a biased opinion, but the best possible thing for these Oklahoma Sooners is for Texas to win this one.
Fatten up that pig.
1.5. I think that Vegas is taking a chicken excrement line here. I do not think this line should be 1.5. I think Arch has I can't think of a player in college football history, at least in my lifespan, from the 90s to now, that has had the expectations that Arch Manning has on his shoulders. Do I think he can handle it? Potentially, but it is kind of insane. It's the media hype and the expectations that have been built around this Texas team, I think, are deserved up to now, but it is insane. The defending national champions, I think this one should be more than 1.5. That being said, I like my horns in this one. I like Texas in this one, and I am very susceptible to the media narratives. I am so excited to watch this one. I guess West Coast blessing. I get this one at 9 a.m. So that's quite the ways to start the day. But I like my horns in this one, but I will not personally. I won't be upset regardless of who wins. This is a great one. This is such an amazing week 1 for college football. I mean, every game on the slate I'm excited for, but I like the horns. I think it's a great one, but I think this, out of respect for Ohio State, this should be at least 3.5, probably 2.5. But yeah, give me the horns.
Yeah, I still don't really. I'm not confident with either side picking this. Like, this is one that I wish I could just forego the picking, just enjoy a nice game between two. I think programs that, regardless of who loses this one, I don't think their season's over with. I don't think they're like K-State right now, who's literally riding in the streets that they want to fire Chris Kleiman and the season's over with. That we got fathers and sons fighting against one another. What a great we didn't even get to talk about that at the top of the show, but God puts a grin on me ear to ear just watching K-State absolutely implode those bums over in Manhattan. But Texas, Ohio State. If you're gonna give me it as an island, I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna go Ohio State. I'm not super confident about this one. I think these are two teams that are mimic each other in the sense of a lot of talent lost to the NFL draft. I think Texas not as much, but I think both of these are like well poised, that it's their programs that have been recruiting at a top 5 level each year that are ready to reload. And I just think Super Saiyan Julian Saiyan just has to, he doesn't even have to drive this bad boy, like with all the driver's assist and other things in cars. Like, he just has to basically have the hands on the wheel in order to get this Ohio State machine going. I think just being on the road is just it just leads me a little bit more towards Ohio State. Two teams that I think are easily going to make the playoffs. So not worried about either, but I'm going to take Ohio State with the points, just being at home. Feel comfortable with the wide receiver room, feel comfortable with the secondary. Defense could, besides that, be a little bit of a question mark, but both of these teams are kind of a question mark, but one's with great talent. So
yeah, I'm curious if Ohio State's run game. If I get surprised and I see something different that we didn't expect, that will change my opinion of this team. But there's still a lot to prove.
So in this game, in this weekend spread, we get one mulligan a year.
No, Lord, no.
I can't go with Texas on this. I'm going to go with Ohio State. I'm flipping.
Hell yes.
I'm mulliganing it to the Buckeyes.
Yes.
Bobby's going to burn his pot of greed tonight. He's going to burn it.
No. So
he's like,
for those of you unfamiliar
with you.
For those of you unfamiliar with this, you get one mulligan, one swap per season, and you get a wild card pot of greed. We'll talk about that later as we get closer to that. But anyways,
on Texas alone is a tale as old as time.
Yes, it kind of is. But I don't
I'll
know.
pull up my record.
I can't do it.
You two are biased.
I'm
on the island twice now.
I know. I'm on Texas.
No, it's a split. It's a split. All right, moving on to our next one. It's the Alabama Crimson Tide, 9-4 last season, heading to Tallahassee to take on the Florida State Seminoles.
Just seeing that record on Florida State, I hadn't thought about it for a little
Florida
while.
State last year, they went 2-10. Something it really bottomed out over there. That was atrocious. Alabama, 13.5 point favorite on the road. Find this one 2:30 p.m. Central on ABC. Blake, kick us off.
Bama's gonna murder them. Like, I don't care. I don't care
fun.
with the revamped Florida State. I don't care that Tommy Castellanos is now the quarterback there.
And
that
Squirrel.
guy's small.
They got Squirrel.
Oh yeah, but even Tennessee didn't want him. Big bag droppers, Tennessee, like they didn't even. They were like, fine, let this guy go. That should be every indication what's going down in Tallahassee. Like, Mike Norvell, he's on the last ropes. I just don't think he's a very good coach. I think he got very lucky with Jordan Travis. I think he got very lucky he was basically like mining for FCS players as one of the major brands in college football, really hit it with James or with Verse, and then thought he could do that again and got completely burned. This guy does not know how to coach. This guy does not know how to win, be a winning program. Bama's going to steamroll him. I've talked about basically the last 2 episodes of this podcast have been a love letter to why I think Bama's going to be super good this year. I think we're going to see it. 13.5. You're giving me just 2 touchdowns with this Bama team, who I think is just going to run through teams, even in the SEC. I think the wide receiver room's great. I think the defense has a lot of good returning starters that I like. Their offensive line is legit and can just throw people around. I don't care if Jim Miller's out. They can put anybody behind that offensive line and they're going to move the ball. Bama's going to roll Florida State. Not even close. Give me 13.5.
Tyda, you don't even have to talk. I already know what you're going to say.
Now that Blake is done filibustering, Jameson does know what I'm about to say, and he's going to hate it. Give me that Tide. Give me Alabama.
What? You had
Alabama.
a double hater pick here. Double hater pick where DJ Uyunglele is gone. Hate. And
So they're that much
you
better.
can do a hate of Kalen DeBall not knower, and you're gonna pick Alabama.
Florida State's going to make a bowl this year. That's a massive improvement over
What?
he who shall not be named. And yes,
How are
Kalen
you
DeBall
gonna pick
not knower.
Alabama whenever you have 2 things
Because
right
it's an ACC team. It's not even a good ACC team. What are you talking about?
I'm so surprised. I'm so
Yeah,
sorry.
I am stunned.
No,
Well, that's the thing with Ty. He's always unpredictable.
there are levels to hating, right? And do I hate Kalen DeBall not knower? Yes. Is he ruining the proud legacy of Alabama that Bear Bryant and Nick Saban established through their blood, sweat, and tears? Also, yes. Are they gonna put up more than 14 points against a bum ACC team? Absolutely. What are you talking about? You're buying into the FSU brand and thinking that I'm going to take FSU here. Give me Bama, right? We'll get into them later in the podcast in later weeks when they start to play, more relevant opponents. But Florida State is going to be massively improved. Florida State can win 3 times as many games. They have to win 3 times as many games this year to even make a bowl game, right? They were 2-10 last year. Of course, they're going to be better. Are they going to put up? Is the delta between them and Alabama in this game going to be less than 14 points? No, absolutely not. Give me the Tide. That's not a vote of confidence for Blake saying they're going to win the national championship, which is absolutely absurd. And frankly, Blake is lucky that this is not the 20th century, because he would be meeting Leonardo DiCaprio because he would be on Shutter Island for that tape.
No, I didn't say they were going to win the national championship. I said they're going to make it. Penn State's going to win it.
That's crazy.
We don't need to rehash this. We don't need to rehash this. So Ty obviously is going with Alabama. I'm also going to be on Alabama here. Well, I'm also not as big on Kalen DeBoer as Blake is. I'm also not as down on him as Ty is. I think that there'll be pitfalls along the way. This just isn't going to be one of them. Obviously, last year was a disappointing year in Tuscaloosa. Hot seat is already on for DeBoer. Whether or not that's fair, that's up to you. It's Tuscaloosa. That's just how this rolls. I think Alabama's going to come out firing. Florida State, you made some changes. Last year, they made a bunch of portal changes. Didn't stick at all. Who knows about this one? But I feel like Norvell, I don't know. I don't like the way he's built that program in terms of just going portal by portal. We'll see how it goes. They're just not going to be up to beating Alabama game number 1. So I got the Tide, not to cover it by a ton, but to cover it nonetheless.
Yeah, I like Bama as well. I think that their offensive line, they can kind of lean on that, chip away, and then they just got too many big play wide receivers that if you are worried about, is Ty Simpson actually, it doesn't matter whenever you have Jeremy Bernard, Ryan Williams, and Isaiah Horton. Straight up. So Give me Bama to cover this one as well.
I will say, very glad that this is not in Atlanta or Orlando or something. Love that it's a proper home and home. And I'm glad we've kind of moved towards these. Moving on to another massive SEC ACC home and home. The LSU Tigers, 9-4 last year, head to the other Death Valley to take on the Clemson Tigers, 10-4 last season. College football playoff participant. Clemson, a 4-point home favorite. You can find this one 6:30 p.m. Central on ABC, a rematch of the 2019 national championship. Jameson, who do you like?
This is the best game right here. This is the one I'm excited about. This is my hot take. Texas and Ohio State's, everyone's going to talk about that. The two Tigers, 6:30 game, which is going to be 7:30 in Clemson time. So you get it where it's dark outside. I think it's going to be a lot more electric, a lot more fun. And this is the game that I'm really excited about. This is the hardest one to pick on the spread too. I think that when it comes down to it, I think I'm going to pick Clemson to win, LSU to cover. I think it's going to be a great back and forth game. I think that Nussmeier getting the famous 18 is going to provide a lot of confidence in him and what he can do. And just for the fact of he's been around town, he's one of the better college quarterbacks in the nation. I think that should keep things close enough. But Clemson will get respect from this game, and we will see how great this defense is with Peter Woods, Wade Wood has like plenty of great guys on that defense that will show out and really give ACC problems.
This is a tricky one. I agree. I think this is going to be an absolute banger of game. And I think it's one that I don't want to say both teams desperately need, but I think it's so important. We talked at the top of the show about defining teams after week one and how these, massive matchups can kind of change the way we look at teams the entire season. It's no more evident than in this game. Clemson hasn't played well against SEC competition at all. They were winless last year, looked horrible in every single SEC game they played. And LSU hasn't won a season opener since the Joe Burrow era. So it's really one of those, something's got to give. I think for LSU, if you lose this one, you're fighting an uphill battle with a tough SEC schedule. You're already in a hole when it comes to national rankings, and it just gets really dicey really quick. Clemson, of course, could get back into the playoff and everything, but there are doubts. You start to you see whether or not, I don't want to say they're a fraud or not, but the cracks can show pretty quickly on what you are in terms of a national championship contender. I feel like I'm putting my hand right back onto a hot stove after it's burnt me like 4 years in a row. I'm going to go LSU on the road. I feel like they're just different. I feel like Brian Kelly finally got this team figured out. I think I think Nussmeier clearly, the 18, first quarterback to wear the 18 since Mock and 03. That's a huge deal in terms of his leadership. If you buy into that, if you buy into what type of quarterback he's going to be this year, I don't know. I like him on the road. I think this is as tough of a game we've had to call on the weekend spread in a while. I like LSU here, though.
This one is unbelievably easy. Unbelievably easy. You're telling me that our America's LSU Tigers get to go into a pretender stadium. They get to go into copyright infringement, the headquarters, the origins of copyright infringement, people that have named themselves after LSU, people that have named their stadium after LSU. It's sad. It's sad that Clemson has won national championships and continues to try to copy LSU. The Vegas, the national media is saying that Clemson is a 4-point better team than LSU at home. That tells you everything you need to know. As ball knowers know, a home field advantage is worth at least a touchdown. So neutral site, LSU wins this game. And there is something that the national media, that the line setters in Las Vegas are not picking up on. And this has not been a good year for Las Vegas, I might add. And this will continue to be a terrible year for them if they're going to set lines like this. One of the best college football players in the nation is on LSU. He was squandered terribly by OU. He's an OU legacy. And of course, I'm talking about wide receiver 1 for LSU, Nick Anderson. He's going to have 2 touchdowns in this game. You're telling me he's got one of the Heisman frontrunners throwing to him? This man's going to have 2 touchdowns in this game, and Vegas is not ready for that. LSU wins this one by double digits. Give me the LSU Tigers. I'm not going to say Dim Tigers because people are going to get it twisted. Give me LSU in this one big. LSU is going to embarrass Clemson at home. People are going to start to ask questions about Dabo on the message boards before halftime hits. Give me LSU.
See, I'm exact opposite of Ty. Like, I think this is what Clemson has been building for. It's kind of the slow play that Dabo goes after. He's not a guy that's hitting the portal. He's not a guy that's trying to just win now. He's trying to build a culture of guys staying there, developing, that he then has really great teams that could actually compete for national championships. I think he has that this year. Like, they're number 1 in returning production this year. I think Cade Klubnik, towards the end of the last season, like, really started to take the steps of like, okay, this guy is actually who we thought he was going to be, and not just like he was kind of a bum the year before and to start the season versus Georgia. I think bringing in Tom Allen as defensive coordinator, I think that's going to be great. Like, he did good things at Penn State, even though like they ended up bringing in somebody else. Like, Penn State's defense has always been solid, but there's so much continuity on this Clemson's team as a whole. Like, I feel so comfortable with them, especially at home against an LSU team that's kind of shaky, a little bit one-dimensional. Like, that's I like LSU a lot too, but the thing I've always worried about, they can't really run the ball anymore. And that worries me a little bit, where I feel like Clemson is just a little bit more well-balanced. They can win the game multiple ways, solid defense. That I look at these positional units and I'm just like, yeah, Clemson wins. Like, their offense is better. I think their defense is better. I think they're probably better coached. Like, there's just a lot of check marks ticking with them that I feel like I have to go Clemson. It's Clemson home game. It's not some neutral site game versus some behemoth that is just going to run over them. I think it's LSU, a kind of flawed like SEC team. One I think they could take advantage of. So give me Clemson.
Man, throwback. Left tackle for Clemson right now is Tristan Lee. Jesus Christ.
Whoa.
Does that make you feel old?
A little bit. Yeah, that's crazy. Damn.
Dude,
Hey, he stuck it out. He stuck it out.
Yeah. I'm interested in this Clemson team. Blake, I still need to see more from Klubnik. I think we might be anchoring too much on what we thought about him as a high school recruit, but we'll see.
Yeah. It's going to be really intriguing. I think it's going to tell a lot about both of these teams. You know, not to oversell one game, but it's going to be big time.
The thing is, if like LSU loses bad, you panic. Like, I think LSU fans really panic. Like, yeah, I think fans, like Clemson fans, would panic. But like, the good thing about the ACC is you could probably run through the ACC even with this loss. You're still making the playoff, and you still have like the sun will rise another day. It feels like LSU fans are putting the pressure on Kelly that it's like he has to win these big games. Like, that is
Dabo's also won multiple national championships at Clemson.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
He's on a very different leash, regardless.
He should have genuinely pretty much the, forever contract.
At the same time,
that's where Dabo's at.
Yeah, at the same time, if Dabo were at LSU, he would have been fired years ago. The way that LSU treats the coaches.
If Dabo was at LSU, he would have an absurd amount of national titles. What LSU has done like really not great coaches like Les Miles, I feel like every single coach they've had has kind of overachieved because of the talent they've had at LSU outside of Nick Saban.
I meant like if you took Dabo's record at Clemson and just transposed it and just took Dabo and made that LSU, they would have fired him in like 2019 or something. Like, they would have given him the same treatment that they, like the short leash that like Coach O and everyone else has been on historically.
Fair. I suppose I get that. Well, I mean, they all fall off. Clemson never fell off a cliff though, like those LSU teams did. Those LSU, those clip that too. Yeah, that too. Let's move on to our next game. Yet again, another ACC SEC showdown. The Virginia Tech Hokies taking on the South Carolina Gamecocks. Shane Beamer playing against his alma mater and the place where his dad became a legend. This one being played in Atlanta. Carolina favored by 8 here. You can find this one 2 p.m. Central on ESPN. This is a Sunday game, I might add. So no Chick-fil-A in the stands for the Chick-fil-A kickoff game on Sunday. Gotta love that. Great move, guys. Blake, who do you like?
Yeah, this game is a little gross in my opinion. Like, I've always kind of been a little bit of a South Carolina hater, Lenora Sellers hater. Like, I think he is good, but I think he has some really bad moments that people just do not talk about. And I think we talked about it on the SEC pod. Like, the South Carolina team just, it feels like it's lost a lot. But talk about a team that's in the absolute doldrums that I try to find ways to think I would pick this team, but I cannot. Virginia Tech, double coordinator switch. Brent, is it Pry? Yeah, Brent Pry. I get him and Brent Key confused. Too many Brents in the ACC. Brent Pry is just, he's on his final legs. And Kyron Drones last year, I was actually a little bit excited about Virginia Tech last year. I remember they had like a lot of returning production. Granted, like this is kind of the classic, like they were returning production of like bad the season before, and it just really didn't click. Like Kyron Drones was worse last year than he was the year before. So I don't really like this South Carolina team, but I just think Virginia Tech's horrible. Like I think they're horrible, and they're going to fire their coach by the end of the season and have to restart this whole process. But I just think they're going to be one of the brands that just gets lost in this era of college football. Like I just don't see Virginia Tech ever coming back. So give me South Carolina.
I want to spend, just a quick few seconds mentioning how it is such an elite move as a college football program of any stature to do that Sunday game before the NFL starts. I remember, what was it, September 1st, 2019. OU did that against Houston, I want to say.
Yeah, the Jalen Hurts game.
Yeah, it was like 30 something to like 40 something. It was suspiciously not great for OU, but
that's not how I remember that game.
What was the score? I think the score was, they scored a lot on us, but that was such an amazing fan experience as a college football fan. And if you're a market like South Carolina, where you're in the SEC, but you're not getting that national media, you're not a top dog, they put you in as like a place filler on the Netflix special Sunday when you're the only game. Ooh, is that a move? And then you got basically, to put this in OU terms, you have like Drake Stoops coaching Texas Tech against OU or something here, which sounds disrespectful to everyone involved because I use Tech, but you got the son of the legend. You have the son of Virginia Tech football's one and only, coaching another team coming into town, and they're the villains. They're in red. They're in the SEC. They're the big dogs. Like, this is such an amazing storyline that is so marketable. So like, this is such an elite move to get views. I love South Carolina in this one. I think they have the talent. I think they're on an upward trajectory. What is their ceiling? I don't know, but I love what Coach Beamer is doing, and I think he is not going to be rattled by this environment that he literally grew up in. And I think he's going to prepare his team well, and I think his leadership is going to spread across that team. What he did at OU as a special teams coordinator was tremendous. The impact that he had, I think as a head coach, he is. I cannot say enough positive things about Coach Beamer. Either one. Go ahead and give me the South Carolina Gamecocks to take this one by 8. I think they have it. I think it is an amazing storyline. It's an amazing move. I'm so excited to watch this game on Saturday. And if you're an athletic director watching, I know we've got a few that listen, schedule more Sunday games. That is such an elite move before the NFL starts.
Yeah, I love the Sunday before the NFL move. By the way, that OU Houston game, the Sooners were up 42-17 at one point. The final though, like in the third quarter, game over. Final ended up OU 49, Houston 31. So to be fair, we're both kind of right.
I said you're right. 30 something to 40 something. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It was 30 something to 40 something, but the game wasn't close. So we're both kind of right.
Bobby said, okay. I don't remember it like that. So I think
I don't think it felt like that. Yeah, but it
didn't feel like that. Yeah, exactly. It didn't feel like that box was way closer than the actual game indicated.
I have elite ball knowledge for games I attended in person, I will say.
There you go. All right. Look, the last time I had any shred of hope or excitement for Virginia Tech was the season opener last year. I faded Diego Pavia and went with Kyra Jones and Vatek as my week one wild card. I got hit in the
ever.
That was bad. It was so bad. Ones. It was so bad. I got hit in the face with a frying pan. It was a disaster. It was not good whatsoever. Bad wild card. No, I'm going to South Carolina here. I know 8 looks weird. I know they've lost a lot. Vegas is just begging you to take the Hokies here. Carolina, even with the losses they've had, is a better team. I think they get a win here and cover the 8 points pretty easy. Also, love that this is the Gamecocks versus essentially turkeys. So,
screw big money for putting this in Atlanta. Honestly, screw them. Put that in Blacksburg, man.
Oh, yes. Seriously.
Why this got to be in Georgia? That's so freaking stupid. That doesn't mean anything. That just pisses me off. Screw that. Sunday games, Ty, you're right. But then they put them in these neutral sites and it just takes away from the environment. You want to see Enter Sandman?
Yeah, I was not aware of the Atlanta thing. That's abhorrent. And frankly, the SEC, not the conference, should investigate Delta Airlines for that because that's sickening.
It's ridiculous. I'm pissed. I think South Carolina just trounces them. The vibes here in Virginia for Virginia Tech are low. I haven't talked to a single person who's a Virginia Tech fan. If anyone comes in to like my clinic wearing Virginia Tech, I'm like, oh, what do you think about it? And they're like, horrible. And I'm like, okay, I'm moving on. I haven't heard anything positive thus far. So I'll go based off vibes, and then South Carolina, honestly, the way they ended the season last year, just keep on, stacking games, and hopefully, even though they lost depth, they can show out good at the beginning of the season versus a poor Virginia Tech.
Tech really is like they're like an East Coast Nebraska. If you only if like Nebraska only had the
without
90s.
like any, I was like without any of the winning.
Yeah,
I guess that
they never won a natty, did they? Did they win one with Vic? Or am I wrong? No, like I think they lost to Florida State, but made a run. But
Virginia Tech's just a whole bunch of intro music merchants at this point. Like they're not a serious football squad.
They have Enter Sandman, and that's it. But I will say it's cool as hell. So let's move on to our next game. Another Sunday night game. This is the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Last year, the national semi, runners up, 14-2 last year, 13-3 against the spread. Heading to Miami to take on the Hurricanes, who went 10-3, barely missed a college football playoff with Cam Ward. Carson Beck now leads the Cane. So the start of his era here. Notre Dame, 2.5-point favorite on the road. Although you could make an argument that Notre Dame might have more fans at this game than Miami. You can find this one 6:30 p.m. Central on ABC on Sunday. It's it's Catholics versus convicts, I suppose. So that's kind of neat that we get that week one. Jameson, how do you feel about this one?
When I first looked at this, I said, I'm going to pick Miami. But then I thought about it, and it's like, I hate Carson Beck. I hate him so much. I just keep going back, and I make this reference all the time. That Snapchat that he was screenshotted. There's other ones. I'm talking about a different one. I'm talking about the one where it's like he was clearly saying that he hated playing football. and I just can't get over that.
Oh, I forgot about that one. I thought you were referencing one of the other. Like, I feel like half a dozen have gotten left out.
I wanted y'all to think that at first, but I want y'all to reference to this guy. I don't think he really enjoys going out there and doing it. And he's not with that girl out there anymore, right? Blake, you'll know this.
No, he is not. I think he was cheating on her on the side, so I don't know if that's QB1 behavior or how you classify.
Are you telling me that a early 20s multi-millionaire moved from rural Georgia to Miami and didn't keep his girlfriend from rural Georgia?
The girlfriend was in Miami.
Was in Miami. That's why he went there.
He moved to be closer to his girlfriend, and then I think immediately cheated on her. Which
Yeah,
kind of Miami.
I can't get behind this, man. I really can't. You're gonna tell me I don't care if I win or lose this pick. You tell me I'm gonna turn on my TV and I have to cheer on Carson Beck. I don't want to do that, please. Just let me just cheer on Notre Dame here.
Yeah, I think I'm with you. This is another situation where I really don't want to cheer on Notre Dame. I don't like either of these programs a ton, but I think the Irish, are at a place where they're very confident. Great run last year. I'm so out on Beck. I'm so out on Miami as a program. I think they're a lot of bluster. I think there's not a lot of real substance there. I personally don't think Beck is going to be the guy to lead them there. He was good with Georgia, but that was Georgia, surrounded by a ton of different weapons. I think he's going to.
I don't know. Georgia didn't have many weapons towards the end of their
I'll say I really do like Mark Fletcher, the running back. He's pretty good.
Fair. I just like Notre Dame on this one. I'm gonna go with the Irish -2.5. This is a weird toss-up. I'm not really sure how to feel about both of these teams. CJ Carr, I guess, taking the reins for Notre Dame. Weirdest thing there, the ties to Lloyd Carr, the legendary Michigan coach. So kind of a funny little situation there that his grandson ended up at a big Michigan rival. So, but no idea on this one. Ty?
This is 2025. You're telling me I got a state with no income tax, historically led by an 80s celebrity with blonde, slick back hair. Give me the U. Give me Miami. This is a foolish. I'm going to be on an island for this. This is why this is Notre Dame -2.5. I do not know. This should be realistically. This should be 7.5. I do not understand why this is 2.5. I know I am taking an L. I know I am taking a little red rectangle on our spreadsheet that measures this, but the vibes give me Miami. You're telling me I can get Miami pre-week 3? That's when they typically fall off. Give me that. Give me Miami. I hate this line. I do not know why Notre Dame is getting disrespected to this point.
Hedge.
But this is not a hedge. This is, I'm being real here. I know what I'm doing. And this pick is for the vibes and for the vibes only. It's foolish, but if it hits, oh boy, if it hits. But give me the U. I believe in my Hurricanes. Notre Dame is having to travel to Miami. Has Notre Dame ever played in front of tens of people? I don't think they're going to be used to that. So I don't think they're going to be used to how quiet and empty that stadium is. I think it's going to frighten them. It's going to be like a horror movie, when you go to like Times Square and Tom Cruise gets out of his classic sports car and looks around and there's no one there. It's going to be like that Will Smith movie.
But
I Am Legend.
But Notre Dame never has that problem because they're Notre Dame, and wherever they go, there will be a bunch of Notre Dame fans. That's
Miami?
just kind of their thing. Yes,
I don't know if they know about.
Yes,
Miami.
I assure you, Ty, there are a lot of Catholics in Miami.
Yes, but not ones that like Notre Dame. Ones that like Florida, yes, but ones that like Notre Dame.
Are you trying to tell me a bunch of rich Catholics are not going to fly down to Miami? Like, okay. Anyways, Blake, who do you like in this one?
Tag me in, brother, because I'm going with Hurricanes. I love this. A classic ball knower versus ball not knower rivalry right here. It was always the Hurricanes. I know Bobby is saying that, oh, Miami just all glitz and glamour, no substance. No, this is a team that has, for the last 3 years, has brought in 3 top 25 recruiting classes and portal classes. They are building something that matters there. I am a little bit worried about Carson Beck, about whether he loves playing football. That is my one concern with this.
You say that out loud, it makes me worried,
seemed,
doesn't it?
It seemed to work out decently well for Georgia. I'm not going to say fantastic, but decently well for Georgia. So, I just really like where Miami's positioned. I do. I think the defense is going to improve. I think really last year they looked great till they just fell off a cliff in like the last few games of the season, which kind of sucked. But it's showing what Mario Cristobal is actually building down there. So I like the composition a little bit of Miami more than Notre Dame. CJ Carr, I feel like not many people are excited that he's starting. Like the people that I really trust when it comes to these camp battles, recruiting stuff, says CJ Carr does not look very good. And I've always thought that Notre Dame, or I guess, I don't know, I guess that means they probably do well even with bad quarterbacks, but I hated their quarterback last year, and
He
they
got the
still
best running back in the country.
Riley Leonard just he was such a bum, and I don't think CJ Carr's going to be much better, but I guess they still win. But give me Miami with the getting points at home. I just think 2 evenly matched teams. I'll take the home one.
Dude, I think Carson Beck, if he had any mojo, I think he lost his mojo, baby. I think
He's either gained plus 100 mojo or like minus 100.
Honestly,
I don't know what to expect.
If he goes out there in first quarter slinging it, I'm like, okay, I might be on ties here. Like maybe there is something to this.
If getting to Miami makes him looser, maybe that's a good thing. Just like not think about it so hard. Not like don't let the decisions just like fatigue you, and just go out there and just start slinging it. That's what
I
he
just
needs
have to live by labels. He's just gonna go out there and do his thing.
I think he's just here for the zip line. But not only that, I really think that the drop between Cam Ward to Carson Beck, I just am out on that. I don't know. I'm not intrigued.
Xavier,
we'll see.
Big L.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Miss him.
Yep. All right, moving on to our final pick of the week. It's a Monday night game. The TCU Horned Frogs. Blake's TCU Horned Frogs. 9-4 last year. A really good 9-4, I might add. Like I kind of forget about that, and then I type it in. I'm like,
the way in which it started, it was so bummy. Like it was like I'm happy how it ended, but it was such a bummy 9-4, considering the fact we lost at home to Houston with Houston's backup quarterback and lost by had a good lead against UCF and lost at home versus them just because we can't stop the run. It was a frustrating 9-4 season, to say the least.
What I should say is I thought you were way worse than you were, and you ended up with 9-4. I'm like,
yeah,
that's surprising. I thought you were garbage. Anyways, they're heading to Chapel Hill to take on the North Carolina Tar Heels in Bill Belichick's opening game. The Frogs, 3-point favorites. You can find this one 7 p.m. Central on ESPN on a Monday night. Blake, who do you like?
You know who I'm going to choose, but I don't like this. I hate being the guinea pig for all these hyped up new coaches. For them, they interviewed Sonny Dykes the other day and said they were reviewing Cam Newton Patriots film to see what possibly Bill Belichick might do with the dual threat quarterback. Like, I hate being in this position. I hate being the guinea pig. Like, I think Bill Belichick is probably going to be an abject disaster at UNC when it's all said and done. But for one game, Bill Belichick can coach the hell out of a team regardless of who they have on the field. So this game absolutely terrifies the crap out of me. I think talent-wise, TCU blows them out of the water. Like, I think TCU has the way better roster, offense, defense, every weapon. It's just the X factor with coaching. I really don't know what this UNC squad looks under Bill Belichick. I don't know what he's going to run out there. Is his system going to be so complex that these kids are just not going to be able to comprehend it, and it's just going to look like a complete abject disaster because he relied so much on people being so good up here just as well as physically. I don't know. It's like everything I see about this, I'm like, I know Bill Belichick as being probably the best coach in football history, but and everything since then has just been an absolute disaster, but he's still Bill Belichick at the end of the day. I'm taking TCU just because I feel like we're more polished. We are more polished. We have the better offense. We have the better defense. I worry. I hate these standalone games. I hate that it's Monday night. I hate that ESPN is like rolling out a special, basically second game day crew to go cover this, making it like an entire event in itself. It's Dion 2.0. I hate it all. Give me TCU and the Frogs. Excited for this year, but damn it, this is the game I'm probably most scared about on their schedule.
Sorry, I couldn't find my unmute button. I like TCU in this one. I think that Bill Belichick at UNC is not going to crash and burn. I think it'll be sort of a slow simmer and then he gets bored. But that's, not for this pod. I think TCU wins by a field goal at least. I understand they're going to Chapel Hill, beautiful, beautiful city. I'm sure TCU will have a great turnout. This is a gorgeous sort of uniform matchup. That North Carolina powder blue is something else. And a Chapel Hill, gorgeous campus if you ever get the chance to go. And then I love my Horned Frogs. I've chosen them as my Big 12 team. But yeah, go ahead and give me the Frogs. I guess bias pick, TCU -3.
Yeah, so here's the thing. When you look at the guinea pig games, like when you compare this to Dion, yeah, there's they both are unknowns, but here's the big difference between that. Deion Sanders was trying to prove himself as a major head coach. At that point in time, nobody was giving him a shot. He had this weird, Colorado took a flyer on him, and he had everything to prove. He was hungry. He's desperate, and I think that is where that was a massive, kind of problem. Bill Belichick has nothing to prove. Bill Belichick is, regardless of what happens at North Carolina, he could go winless with the Tar Heels, and we would totally forget about it. Nobody would care. He is still the greatest. It would be a weird, funny blip on the career, the way we look at Jordan, with the Wizards.
No, honestly, Belichick going winless at UNC might help his legacy in the long run, because it'll be like, look at how he fleeced UNC.
He took this job,
Yeah.
I feel like, to get his son, because I
Exactly.
feel like there is a part in the contract that basically says you have to hire my son next.
Yeah, his son is the Shiloh Sanders in this equation.
He's literally just here to get to vouch for his son to get a job. I don't think that passion's there. He's obviously distracted. I think the Frogs,
Expand on that.
What? Oh, no.
Expand on how he's distracted.
I will put a link into Pablo Torres finds out.
Come find us. She's quick with the. She might be even better than Tennessee fans of finding all the hate.
She's watching this, and we're pre-recording this offline, and she's still probably somehow watching this.
I'm more
live.
afraid of her attorneys than the SEC coming after.
Not the athletic organization, the SEC. No. I like the Frogs here. I think they're a better team, and I think at the end of the day, Dykes and Co. have a really, really solid team. I'm starting to believe in Hoover a little bit, and regardless of what,
that's the parts that you haven't believed in. Hoover is incredible. It is insane. This is insane.
I just wanted to say it because you get so excited about Hoover, and it's always funny to me.
He's so good. He is so good.
All right, so I'm on Hoover.
He needs the wins. He needs the wins to cement himself with Duggan, Boykin, and Dalton. But
yeah, no shit.
They're in the talent level. He is so good.
Anyways, I like TCU on the road. Jameson?
Give me the Tar Heels.
Somebody had to think of
respectively. I just kind of want to watch this burn. It's gonna make it more fun on a Monday. So Tar Heels respectively.
I hate that. Why is it a Monday game? I just want to blend in, man. Like, why do they put my team when we're soaring
Dude's
high?
so
We
scared.
get put on
This dude is
ESPN Plus.
so freaking scared right now.
No,
Well,
nobody watches us. And then the moment where I'm like, okay, let's just hide a game away really quick, just so like we can see how this works out, see where everything stands, and like we finally get our national presence that we wanted. This is ridiculous.
You just it's like you're like the the Washington Generals or something. You just show up in the movie just so someone can beat you. I guess. I don't know. Anyways, it's time.
We are so much better than this UNC team. We are so much better, but that BS, the BS from a few years ago, is just traumatizing because then it affects my life too. Beyond just the TCU loss, it's like I just have to listen to these talking heads. Just Bill Belichick, Dion. It becomes we make it a national story, and it just drives me nuts. I can't live with it. I can't. I can't do it a second go round. The Dion stuff was insane. We were having Big Noon out there, like Snoop Dogg and Lil Wayne out there performing for them to like go 3-9 that season or whatever the crap they were. Like they were so bad. That team was so bad. But yet we are the launching point for these horrible national narratives. I hate it.
Well, OU fans have been there before. I with the whole Boise thing. So, anyways,
I would take OU's history if the Boise thing is the only thing that happened.
Yeah.
We lost in a Fiesta Bowl, a BCS Bowl. Like it actually had something of meaning.
Yeah, we also had the worst national championship loss of all time until y'all took that over. So appreciate that, guys.
Yeah.
Let's move on to our favorite pick of the week.
Why aren't the brakes working?
Because I cut the brakes! Wild card, bitches!
It's time for our wild card picks, where we make our favorite pick from outside of the slate. We have standings on the left from last year. They don't matter. Jameson, what does matter? Who are you picking with your pick?
Looking at these lines, there's 4 lines that I like. There's one that I think is educated and I probably will end up taking. There's one that I would like to take in Oklahoma, but I just don't think that's fun. We didn't talk about Oklahoma, but 35.5 I think is an easy win. Then there's 2 really, really, really dirty ones. And there's something inside of me just saying, just do it, Jameson, just do it. But it's the beginning of the year, and I don't think I have that luxury yet to do that. I'll give you a hint on what I'm going to, after I make this pick, I'll tell you what my dirty ones were. But in years past, what I've liked to do is go through and find people that played in week 0 and maybe had some growing pains in the first half and then kind of hit their stride in the second half. And therefore, those teams usually can come out stronger and faster versus a team that hasn't played yet. And I think that's the case with Iowa State. I think that it was rainy. It was looking crappy out there. And then in the second half, there was a couple bad throws from Rocco Beck, but you saw like the gamer that he had in the Iowa State, their run game, their offense really started to shine. Here's the line versus South Dakota. 15.5 in Ames. Pardon me? 15.5 for South Dakota versus Iowa State, a team that's already played. Give me Iowa State minus 15.5. I just don't see South Dakota keeping it that close. My other ones, I legitimately was thinking the same. Blake, should I have picked Fresno minus 1.5 versus Georgia Southern?
No, God, no. God,
No.
AJ Warner
Fresno
was so
was
bad during
awful.
that game. It was.
Oh,
I know.
horrible.
I wanted to just say that just to see the reaction and to be hilarious.
That game was horrendous to watch.
No,
I don't
it was
even
really
think
bad.
Kansas really has that good of a defense. And
The
they
first
just
drive was good for Fresno.
Kinda.
They had a good script, and that's it.
It was, but that would have been hilarious, but it would have just killed me. And then another one, Blake. What happens if I would have picked UNLV playing Sam Houston State?
No, I'm not touching them right now. Whatever
Well,
the
both
hell
of
is
those
going
teams
on.
played. Both
Like,
of
I know.
those teams played last week. There's no
I know.
advantage.
I thought it'd be hilarious to pick either
Awful.
Fresno or UNLV, but I decided no. This is legitimately the first week. Jameson, can you start smarter and not do something stupid? I do something stupid every freaking year in the first week. I always pick frickin' Boco and Texas State.
No,
I gotta be smart.
I had one plan teed up, which I am now getting off of because there's no purpose. The love for USF last week. Why is that not against Boise? Their biggest game.
I already said I
wanted
was
this
going to
one
pick
on
USF.
What?
I already said I was going to pick them, but I already did my over-under on them. I'm not going to double dip on that.
Oh God, no. Where is the old Jameson, Mr. Double Dipper, Boko, taking Boko every which way, shape, or form, how it's served? What is this new Jameson? Like, that's what I was prepared to just go, Boise State, automatic. Like, we're putting this Golden Brahma to bed. Because
this is a Thursday at 5:30
I
Eastern
know!
time.
It's a
But you
horrible
love your
line, too.
Byron Brown.
6.5. 6.5. Like, Boise's weirdly not valued in it very much. Like, you're not even getting a ton of Brahma love. Or, like, the Brahmas are getting too much love. I don't know. I don't.
They're dogs
that
at
would have been
home,
weird.
you know? Like, come on.
6.5, though. Like, against a ranked team.
We lost a lot of talent, but still.
They didn't. No, stop that. They lost. They lost Ashton Genty. They have like 16 returning starters back this year. It is insane. The glaze that Ashton Genty gave Boise.
Yeah, because he was one of the best
For
players in the
good
country.
reason.
But they were still a good team without him. Like, they were still a great team. They were like, just because they don't have their stars. Same reason.
I'll give it to you.
Scatterbo.
Maddox Madsen was kind of good.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he was young. And I just don't get this. It's the glazing of Ashton Genty.
But still.
We've gone out of order.
This also was a guy that deserves to be glazed. Like, come on now, Blake.
Yes, he did. But everybody's acting like Boise State has lost everything. That they
Because
won a
they
program
lost that first round draft pick.
Pause.
Yes, but they consistently win all the time.
Not versus South Florida.
Against a bomb USF team that can't seem to beat non-conference foes nor put anything together, but yet you love 2 years ago Byron Brown just going off, and now he's coming back after last year playing like 4 games, playing like an absolute joke of QB. I don't get the Brahma love. I do not.
What is even going on?
I love the South Florida over 6.5, and there's just haters out here.
Why
They'll
are we
know. They'll
Get
know.
double down. Get. If you think it's that easy, if you got the whole win total board and you took that one, you should be highlighting this game, saying this is where they put their name. This is where they put their name on the map.
Easy ones. Y'all pick
Jameson, I got my finger on the button. I'll do it.
No, I don't. No, I like to save mine.
No, he's
You never saw this coming.
No, don't you dare use that.
now because
I was trying to coax him.
Jameson's just gonna do a classic week 3 whenever they play like Florida A&M and they're favored by 28, and Jameson just takes that and it's like, see, I know USF. No, like they're a bummy team. Alex Golesh, like he had like one game versus Miami where he kept it close, and everybody's like, he's the future of the G5, and like never has been able to win anything.
I'm letting you know that
God.
they go Boise State, Florida, Miami to start the season, Blake.
Good.
All right, we're getting this back on the road.
I'm picking Iowa State minus 15.5.
All right, so there's Jameson's pick. I'm gonna go with one that maybe one of our panel members might not like, but just given the fact that there is some turnover at quarterback. There's turnover at quarterback, and last year they got off to a really, really rocky initial start when the Idaho Vandals came to Eugene, Oregon. I'm going to go with the Montana State Bobcats, ranked second in the FCS, plus 29.5 at Autzen Stadium against Oregon.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, Lord. I don't like Oregon this year, but
that's my thing.
New Mexico put Montana State on the ropes last year. New Mexico.
I'm just going with Montana State to just keep it within 29.5 points. I just feel like they can do enough. Oregon looked really rough out of the gates. They kind of take a little bit of time to get together. They still don't know their starting quarterback. I know they're saying it's probably going to be Dante Moore.
It's going to be
Dante Moore. It's going to be Dante Moore. But, still a little quarterback controversy. I think Oregon gets out of the gates rolling a little bit slow here. And I think we have Montana State covering that 29.5. That's my kind of bold pick for a wild card.
Here's my challenge This is the first ever. This is the first ever time, as far as I can recall. And I would like to reference the standings over here on the left of the screen if you're watching on YouTube. I was 9-5 after getting much hate from Jameson about being terrible at the games that I chose to pick. But I was 9-5 last season, which was
When
the
did I
best on
say
the
that?
pod.
Don't straw man
You
me.
used to say that for years because I was terrible. It was
Oh, in the
objectively true,
past,
which
of
is why
course.
you would
Okay,
say
thank you.
it. This is the first ever weekend spread that OU has been playing and has not appeared. So I cannot be an OU fan, be the only perhaps true OU fan on this pod and not take them. So go ahead and give me the Oklahoma Sooners against Iowa State, Illinois State, Idaho State, one of those I states that is irrelevant. Go ahead and give me OU. I believe it's minus 35. Is that correct?
35 and a half.
I'm
35 and a
desperately
half.
scrolling ESPN trying to find it right now.
35 and a half.
Okay. I did not
Ty, may
plan
I
on.
offer you in the largest line of the week? That is
No,
usually
see,
what you like to do. That is
I looked-
Illinois playing Western Illinois at 46 and a half.
Yes, I
Oh.
did look at that, but I did not like it. But go ahead and give me OU minus 35.5 against whatever state that we are playing. Well, Bobby, will you please play the video, please?
No way, really?
You never saw this coming. I summoned Pot of Greed.
I summon Pot of Greed for an additional pick, which is something that I
Pot of
made
greed. You get one, by the way, all season long, folks. Ty.
which is something that I made up mid-season, mid-episode one time, and then Bobby just thankfully rolled with it because it makes a great dynamic. But this is the game that I was going to pick because I was certain that Bobby was going to pick OU because he is a diehard in every definition OU fan. I thought he was going to take the OU game, but I will not allow there to be a weekend spread without OU being mentioned if they are playing. Go ahead and give me, and now I'm about to switch up on OU fans, Lincoln Riley and the University of Southern California. That was not a bit. That was not a bit. My brain auto-corrected my notes to Carolina.
You're proper SEC. You're already referring to USC as South Carolina.
The University of Southern California, shout out Ford, minus 35. So I'm taking a combined 70 and a half exposure here, if you really look at it, against Missouri State. Not the same head coach, but I know that Lincoln Riley will smoke Missouri State week one. So go ahead and give me, I have no idea who plays for USC. I have no idea. I couldn't name a single player. Lincoln Riley could have been fired 2 seasons ago. I wouldn't know. Go ahead and give me USC minus 35 even against Mizzou State. It's not Mizzou, it's Missouri State, but Mizzou State.
Right. Yeah. Their debut, by the way, as a FBS team. So,
Yep.
Blake?
I was fully prepared because I thought Jameson was going to bring on the Brahma Bull and I was going to take Boise State, but he cowered away from that. So
I did not cower. I already said it in the past.
now stop it. This one feels lackluster compared to your Boko love. It feels forced.
I've
It
got to
feels
be
like-
smart, Blake. I've
Nope,
been
see?
so I just love living dangerously. That's like my second.
See,
Austin
no,
Powers.
that was
You're
the
already
best thing
down.
about Boko was it didn't matter if it was smart, dumb. You were just doing it regardless, and that's what I miss. But I'm
True
gonna
love.
go. This one feels just like a little easy one. I don't care who's starting for quarterback for them because I don't even think we still know. Give me John Summerall in the Tulane Green Wave minus 5.5 versus Northwestern. Like, I don't care that one's a G5 and one's a P4. Northwestern's a complete and absolute shell of themselves. Last year, their only wins, like major wins, being versus Purdue, who was horrible, and then Maryland, who's like not great. A team that just doesn't bring back a lot of talent, basically just doesn't grade well in any shape or form on the offensive, defensive side of the ball. If they have anybody good, they've not been able to keep them. I'm taking, I don't care if it's Jake Retzlaff, I don't care if it's whoever's behind him. John Summerall's just a significantly better coach. You're giving me just less than a touchdown. at home in New Orleans versus a Northwestern team that I'm not very impressed by. Not much analysis here. Just think this is just two different teams on two different trajectories. So give me the Green Wave -5.5.
I actually really like that, especially at home in New Orleans. By the way, you can get a ticket for $8. So
yeah.
shout out to Yulman. Actually, yeah, I love that pick actually. But all right, well, that is our slate for week 1. Week 2, a lot more light. You got OU Michigan. You got some other games on there. It's not very good, folks. But I don't know, guys. I think we did pretty good. A little long, but hey, that's just kind of how it
That's
goes.
legitimately weekend spread. This is just par.
This is especially with such a packed slate too. I had to hold the punches, but towards the end, when Jameson's just bringing in just
What do you mean you had
pick.
you had to hold the punches, but then at the end you decide to go on a 6-minute rant about South Florida?
Yeah, but that's because I had it all planned. Jameson was going to take the Bulls. I was going to take Boise State. It was going to be a nice duel for the ages. But then Jameson decides to come up with, he's like, what I really have always done, as everybody knows on this podcast, is after week 0, I have a formula that I love to do.
Which I do.
This is not the Jameson
We don't
I
need to
want
do this
do.
again.
It was all love and passion with his little small scrappy programs that will never win anything. Whereas me, I take my small scrappy programs, we build something, we compete for conference titles, we really make something out of the program. But that is not in Jameson's DNA just yet. He'll get there soon. He'll take a few.
I will. Optimism in my South Florida team.
I said it'll take a few, so it could be a few years.
Lord.
Time is all
Hey,
relative, my friend.
Hey, once they get that on-campus stadium, you'll be cooking. You're making an investment in the future, Jameson.
Just wait. It's going to be a packed house. Thursday, 5:30 Eastern.
Raymond James.
That's what I love about these programs that are in big cities. Everybody always circles them. They're like sleeping giant, and I'm like, yes, they are in a big city theoretically, they could, but they don't have a fan base. That's the problem. Nobody goes to the games. Nobody cares about this program. Just because they're located in a big city doesn't mean it's some sleeping giant.
Just wait till they beat Boise State, Blake. It's going to be
brother. That is not happening.
If that does happen, you're gonna be like, well, I should have picked him. You believed in him so bad, But all right. Well, that's all we have for this week's edition of the Weekend Spread. We'll be back next week, pick week 2. Hope you all have a great first weekend of the college football season and a wonderful Labor Day. Until then, good luck out there, everybody.